Today we are going to revise the Gauss theorem which you have studied in 11th standard. So in 11th standard you have seen the Gauss theorem regarding two conditions. In that first condition is if we are going to consider one surface, so let's consider this is your one of the surface S, and through this surface when lines of forces are passing, so these lines of forces are passing through this surface area S, and over this surface area these lines of forces are exactly perpendicular to every element of the surface. Means what? If I am going to consider this small surface area as a ds, so through this small surface area ds, the direction of intensity, your lines of force will use as the direction of intensity. So direction of intensity and ds vector, they are exactly perpendicular to each other. Means the perpendicular component of ds and intensity, so perpendicular component of ds and intensity, they are exactly parallel to each other. Now perpendicular component of electric intensity means what? This is your surface area ds and perpendicular component of ds. So here I can say the perpendicular component of ds. So this perpendicular component of ds and electric intensity, they are lying along the same line. So they are parallel to each other. As they are parallel to each other, the angle theta will become as a 0 degree. And then your flux, or I can say that small flux d phi is equal to, according to definition, it is vector E dot vector ds. That is the definition of electric flux which you have studied previously from the definition of intensity. Electric intensity is defined as magnetic flux per unit area, and therefore your d phi can be written as vector E dot vector ds. If I solve that dot product, so I will get it d phi is equal to E ds into cos theta, where this theta is the angle between intensity and the perpendicular component of ds, which is equal to 0, and cos of 0 is always 1. So your flux d phi can be written as a E into ds. But what is the condition here? For that condition, your ds, perpendicular of component of ds, should be parallel to intensity, or I can say that ds is perpendicular to intensity. So this is your ds, which is exactly perpendicular to intensity, or perpendicular component of ds is parallel to intensity. So your flux formula can be written as phi d phi is equal to E into ds. And suppose we are considering the another condition. In that another condition, if I am saying that your surface area ds is slightly tilted like this manner, then at that time I have to solve its I have to draw the vector, or I have to draw the component of ds which is exactly perpendicular to the direction of electric intensity. So what I can say that if I am saying that this is my surface area ds, and here is nothing but I am going to show the direction of electric intensity. So this is surface area ds, and here is nothing but the direction of electric intensity. And this is your surface area. So here is the element I can consider. Here I can consider this is your element ds. This element ds is not perpendicular to the surface area. There is a certain angle. This angle is there as a theta. The component is not perpendicular. So now you have to draw a perpendicular component of the surface area. So here I can draw the perpendicular component of surface area ds, which is exactly perpendicular to the surface direction of electric intensity. So this is my component over the ds, which is exactly perpendicular to ds. So whatever this yellow color line I have drawn, this I am going to say as a component of ds, which is exactly perpendicular to intensity. And now this angle is nothing but your theta. So now in this case, now I can say previously formula d phi is equal to nothing but vector E dot vector ds, which can be written as d phi is equal to E ds into cos theta. What is this theta? Theta is the angle between direction of electric intensity and the perpendicular component of area. That is nothing but as your angle theta. So here is nothing but your formula for d phi when your surface area ds is not perpendicular to the direction of electric intensity. At that time, what you have to do? You have to draw the component of ds, which is exactly perpendicular to the direction of electric intensity, whatever I have shown here, like this. And this, they are exactly perpendicular to each other, and initially ds and direction of electric intensity, they are making certain angle theta. And then you will get, this is the formula. So this is your d phi formula when your intensity component is not perpendicular to the ds. And if your ds is exactly perpendicular to the direction of electric intensity, then your d phi formula is d phi is equal to E into ds. So these are the two important cases which we have studied previously in 11th standard. And now using this condition, now we can say that there is a Gauss theorem which you have studied. What you have studied? That total flux, that is phi, which is equal to nothing but integration of d phi, which is equal to integration of d phi. D phi value we have seen E into ds. When this formula is true, when your direction of electric intensity is perpendicular to ds. And this phi, which is equal to nothing but integration of E into ds, is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. This Gauss theorem you have studied in 11th standard. So this Gauss theorem will be written only in case of direction of electric intensity is perpendicular to ds. But if your direction of electric intensity is not perpendicular to ds, not perpendicular, that's why I'm putting a cross sign over the perpendicular sign. So at that time phi is equal to integration of vector E dot vector ds, which can be written as the integration of E ds cos theta. It is must be equal to nothing but your Q upon epsilon. So this cos theta factor will remain present in the value of your magnetic flux when your direction of electric intensity is not perpendicular to that of ds. So this Gauss theorem already we have studied in the 11th. So now you have to remember these two formula very carefully for 12th standard syllabus, where we are going to consider the applications of the Gauss theorem. Thank you.